Alright guys, welcome back to another video on earning some airdrops, and this time we're going to be talking about another task available on Power 3 platform right here, Crew 3 platform, and this is going to be to deposit liquidity into the IPOR app. Okay, so but before we start with that, I have some really interesting news and really exciting news for you guys in relation to the token that's coming up, and it's going to be called the Power token, or maybe that's just the way they're calling it now. But the new article just came out on their Medium blog, and it says here, Power tokens, incentives done better. So these guys have been working really hard on coming up with a new incentive structure for their token to make sure the token has long-term value, that it has true utility, and that it does build a proper community that sticks around with the project, as opposed to generally what happens is the way things generally work in liquidity mining is there's a huge APR initially, because there seems to be like there's a fixed amount of tokens available, and then the more people come in, the more people have to share those rewards between themselves, which means there's less and less incentives for new people to join. So usually the people that actually get anything meaningful out of these liquidity mining situations is just whales, because they have huge amounts of tokens, huge amounts of liquidity, and they're the ones that get all the tokens, and then everybody else is kind of left empty-handed, and then the whales dump the token and the price dumps, and it's essentially after initial couple of days, weeks, the tokenomics are essentially destroyed. So these guys have been working for 2.5 years now to figure out a better way of distributing tokens, a better tokenomics structure that's going to work long term, that's going to provide utility, and that's going to be sustainable over the long term. So there's the article. I'm going to link that down in the description below, so make sure you guys read it. It's a little bit complicated, so it's a new system. So I read this, but to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. So I don't want to be the one explaining it, just in case I say something wrong. But the main kind of thing here is the power tokens versus the liquidity. So the more liquidity you provide, the less tokens you get. So it's not a linear structure, as in the more tokens you provide, the more power you get. Initially, it's more than linear, so it gives you lots of tokens initially, but then it gives you less and less tokens. So this is the so-called what you call this? Not exponential, but the opposite, the one divided by exponential, so logarithmic. It's a logarithmic curve, so the rewards actually decrease the more liquidity you provide. So it's kind of anti-whale sort of situation, okay? So this is the first interesting part. The other thing, interesting part is you can kind of use these power tokens and delegate them into different modules. So then depending on what you really want to do, what you want to incentivize, where you want to use your tokens, you can use them in different ways as well. So this is the second part of the innovation of the power tokens. And there's quite a lot of stuff to digest here, but that's kind of the top level, the surface level situation. But I would definitely recommend you guys read the article in full. And then also there's a new task available on Crew 3, which is the quiz. So you guys can then take the quiz, check your knowledge, and you will be able to earn extra rewards as well. Now, the one reward we're going to be doing today is the depositing liquidity part, because unfortunately, since we are working with the Ethereum mainnet, you need to be a little bit conscious about the time that you do it, and what kind of costs are associated. So last time we did interest rate swaps, and you can do this weekly, by the way, guys. You can earn yourself 300 XP weekly, but the problem is it's going to be costing you $15 each time you do it. This one is a little bit cheaper. This one only costs $500. However, I'm not sure you can do this weekly to just deposit and withdraw liquidity. I think you need to deposit additional liquidity to earn the 300 XP, but it's still going to cost you, every time you withdraw, it's going to cost you 0.5%. So if we're talking about $1,000, 0.5%, that's going to be $5 cost to deposit and withdraw your liquidity. Whereas here, it's $15 fee. So just, unfortunately there are some costs associated here, but the rewards are pretty good. And if you guys want to earn yourself, a good number of points, you can obviously do this weekly, and you can get quite a lot of points this way. There's also many other opportunities, so just make sure you go around and follow these things. So if you are doing socials, just don't do everything at once, because you might get banned or you might get suspended. Make sure you do a couple of tasks every day, and then slowly, don't do them all at once. There's plenty of time, so no need to rush. Okay, with that out of the way, now let's have a look at the platform. So just a quick reminder again, so there is a Goerli testnet. You guys can go, so links again in the description below. You can do that on the testnet just to practice before you do the real thing. But when you do the real thing, there's a couple things you need to keep in mind. So obviously the most important thing is you want to keep an eye on the gas costs, because look at this. Recently, look at the maximum: 121 gwei, 151 gwei, 168 gwei, 98, and then 522 gwei. So there's been a lot of Binance FUD going on around recently. So people have been drawing their tokens off the exchanges, and there seems to have been quite a lot of action going on the Ethereum mainnet. You can see the averages have been quite high up, but because this is the weekend, because this is Saturday evening, you can see that it's much more stable, much lower. And if you guys don't know, I can give you the link to this as well. It's just historical data. You click here on historical gas oracle prices. So this is raw data. This is data that's happening right now. Whereas when you go look at other gas guzzler kind of gas platforms, I suppose they can sometimes give you the average numbers. You don't know what's actually going on at that particular moment in time. So I like this one because it tells me exactly what's going on right now in this particular block. So you can see here each block, it tells you what the average, the low, and the high were. So we can see it's been pretty stable. If I go 13, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to get. So it's gone up a little bit. So we were 12 and 11 earlier, but you know, we were talking a minute or two ago. So it's we'll see, but it's not that big of a deal because that's relatively low volatility. But you can also be surprised. So just be aware of that it's 15 at the minute. So it's coming up a little bit. Because literally a few seconds can make a difference, 10, 20, 30, 50% in the amounts of gas that you're going to pay. So kind of something to definitely need to keep in mind. And when you're doing these, probably it would be better if I was doing it kind of later at night, but I've been watching this whole day, and even last night, it's just been constantly above, 12, 13, thereabouts. So it's kind of hard to pick the perfect time, but that it is what it is, guys. If we do get the airdrop, it's going to be well worth whatever extra couple of dollars we're going to have to pay in gas costs. So let's go ahead now and do the swap. So we're going to go to the mainnet. So we need to switch to Ethereum mainnet. Let's switch to network. There we go. So I'm going to connect my account and connect. Oh, no, I think I'm connecting to something else here. I have so many dApps open, but anyway, doesn't matter. So I have 1,000 tether here. So you need to deposit a minimum of 1,000 tether. So you connect your wallet, and the only thing you need to do is just open USDT swap. No, we're not doing the swap. Sorry, we need to go into the pools. We're gonna do the pools and deposit USDT. So I'm gonna deposit 1,000 USDT. We're gonna say 1,000, and first thing you need to do is approve it. So we're gonna approve that. Need to confirm that in MetaMask. No, this is the wrong address. No, I don't want to use this. Why is it connecting with this address? Okay, sorry, this is not actually my account. This is the contract that I'm giving permission to. So yeah, that's my my bad. Let's confirm here. It just reminds me of one of my addresses. That's why. Okay, confirm. Okay, approving transfer. So I'll receive 964 IP USDT. So I don't know why I'm only getting considerably less than 1,000. Hopefully I'm gonna get my full 1,000 USDT back once I withdraw. Okay, transaction complete. Came up on my other screen, and it's been approved as well here. Okay, let's close it down and let's do a deposit now. Okay, so it's gonna cost me $6.16 in gas. Okay, that's at the market rate. So let's see what it is right now. What's the gwei? 13 base. Yeah, that's roughly what it is. Okay, let's confirm. Okay, depositing stable coins to liquidity pool. So this transaction USDT will be converted to IP USDT. Okay, I have it confirmed on my other screen here and confirmed here, and now it's going to give me the option to add IP USDT. So I'm going to add that token so that I can see in my MetaMask. So now I only have 28 USDT left, and my MetaMask will now show me that I have IP USDT. So this is essentially the fact that it's like an IOU. So you deposited tokens into our pool. Here's your receipt. There you go. And then I can use the receipt to get my tokens back from the pool. So it is single-sided liquidity. So there is no impermanent loss danger here. However, I wouldn't feel necessarily 100% comfortable keeping this in long term. It's up to you guys. You know, there's always a risk of a hack happening. Unfortunately, I have been one time a victim of one of those hacks of the bridges, and I lost kind of 80% of the value of my USDT, which I thought was stable. So I'm a little bit iffy about these things. So I'm going to withdraw my liquidity now, and I'm going to do that as well, just to show you that there is a fee, a 0.5% fee. So this is how these guys make money, which is very important. If you're going to be, you know, working with any sort of protocol, it has to have some kind of a real yield. So if we're providing a real service, we want to be paid for that real service. So even though it's kind of annoying as the liquidity provider to be charged a withdrawal fee, it is a way for these guys to make money. And if these guys make money, then the tokens that you either invest or buy or get or whatever will have some real value, real yield. You know, this is what we're looking for. We've seen how all these projects and tokens and tokenomics have fallen apart throughout the last 2 years. And the only things that are going to survive long term are going to be things with real yield. So you can go onto those DeFi Llama places and you can see how much money these protocols are actually making. And if they're making real money, then they have real value. If they're not making any money, they're just not going to be sustainable long term unless they pivot and do something else. Okay, let's now withdraw our liquidity, and let's withdraw 100% and proceed. Okay, so this is going to cost me another $6 in fees. Okay, so you see the costs are ramping up, but we're going to get a badge in return, so we're going to be liquidity providers. Okay, so this has been transferred back to my wallet. There we go. And that's it. So we have our $1,000 back. The fee, I didn't notice the fee. It didn't tell me. I think I noticed it on the testnet, but I'm not sure here. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but maybe we'll look back at the video and see what happened there. And no, so in order to claim this, you're going to have to give them, so if we click here, submission, copy paste URL of the transaction in the submission URL field below and claim. Only newly opened positions will be considered. To claim the weekly reward, you need to deposit a minimum of 1,000 equivalent in USDC daily. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what this means, but it's just new positions can be considered. So once your claim is reviewed and accepted, you will be granted 300 XP and be given the liquidity provider Discord badge. The badge will also give you access to private Discord channel where you will be able to discuss liquidity providing with other members in the IPOR Labs team. Okay, so let's get our URL. So what I'm going to do is go to Etherscan, and these are our transactions. So this is the providing liquidity, and this is what we're going to take this URL here, copy that, go into IPOR, into Crew3. No, this is the Crew3 bit. Has it disappeared again? Okay, let's pop that in here. So make sure you do that from the same wallet address that you've registered for your Crew3 account. Okay, so this is the submission URL, and I can claim the reward now. And now this is in review. Okay, so that's the quest completed. Now we just have to wait for someone to manually approve this, and this will give us the badge, the liquidity provider badge, access to the private Discord, and it's going to give us another 300 XP. Okay, so that's it for me today, guys. Make sure you keep an eye on this project. This could be huge, and it's a really great project. It's innovative. They're coming up with new things, new tokenomics. They've got some real good people behind it, and not too many people seem to be talking about it. So get in, be one of the early people, and hopefully it'll be a nice little reward at the end of this. All right, cheers, guys. See you in the next one.